Hey everybody, this is Levi from ontheregular.com. Just wanted to share some tips with you that's really been helping me be real successful with getting my ulcerative colitis under control. As you know, I've suffered with ulcerative colitis for about 7 to 8 years, and the last 4 years of that I've been on medication off and on, and nothing has just really helped me. And then about 3 months ago I started a natural process, actually, of course, and that really changed everything for me. And it's juicing, actually juicing fruits and vegetables. And I'm going to kind of show you what I do on a daily basis that kind of helps me get with that. But basically what I noticed was within 3 days of juicing that my symptoms got about 80% under control. And as far as the urgency, the bleeding, and those types of things just really just all of a sudden went away. And what's interesting about that is I just wasn't getting that with the medication I was seeing for the last 4 years, like I said. So I'm going to take you over to my juicer, show you what I do on a daily basis. I juice about 3 to 4 times a day as I can, which some may see that as a terrible inconvenience, but basically what I do is I go to the juicer. I have some juice in the morning whenever, because I'll go to the gym in the morning. When I come home from that, I'll have some juice, get ready, go to work. Now I'm fortunate to where I only live about 4 miles from where I work, so what I'll do is I'll come home during lunch and have a juice at that time, and then whenever I get home from work, that's one of the first things I'll do is just go ahead and make a juice, and then usually I try to juice right before I go to bed. So in the scheme of things, that really isn't that big of a deal when you think about it. Now on the weekends, of course, when we're out and about, it makes it a little bit more difficult, but I just try to stick to the regimen as best as possible. So basically, like I said, within 3 days, I just really noticed a change in my symptoms. It's been 3 months now, and the juicing's really got me about 85–90% remission. Tremendous. And I got to say, on top of that, was zero medication. Once I started juicing, I cut the medication out completely because I just knew I didn't want to be on the medication long term. My GI doctor had actually kind of run out of options. I had went through all of his options that he had, and basically the last thing he had said to me was the fact that his only option up to this point now was either steroids and or surgery, and neither one of those options sounded good to me. So that's why I started exploring the alternative options out there. Now juicing isn't the only thing I do. I do also do some supplements as far as vitamins, and also something else that helped me get that extra 15%, but I'll ask you to stay tuned for that. So I'm going to take you over to my juicer, show you what I do on a regular basis, and we'll go from there. So and I'll just show you real quick what I have. I have the Juice Man Professional Series 411. I don't even think they make this juicer anymore. I've had this juicer for about 10 years probably, and I've juiced on and off since then because I've always been in health and nutrition, and it just hasn't really been a big deal though, but I've really enjoyed juicing, but I haven't been as consistent as I have been the last 3 to 4 months. So with that being said, I'll just kind of show you what I do, and it's very simple. Kind of set up the camera there, come over to my fridge. Show you my particular regimen. So basically what I'm going to do is I only recommend organic fruits and vegetables, and I mean just because they taste better, they're not genetically modified, they're not sprayed with any pesticides or anything like that. So we've got to be able to, our intestines and our GI tract is very sensitive to what we eat, as you know. So I only think putting the best in there is what works out. So I'll still rinse it off a little bit though. Still rinse off the apple and my carrots. What I have here is I've got basically just 4 carrots, and then here's the main ingredient, the secret ingredient. Is the Napa cabbage. Now cabbage in general is really kind of the key ingredient to this. I've kind of found that the Napa cabbage seems to work best for me. I went through Napa cabbage. It kind of helped me the most. And then I switched over to just regular green cabbage. I tried some red cabbage on top of that. And I don't know, I just felt like I really got some good results out of the Napa cabbage, so that's what I'm sticking to. Basically, I'll rinse this off as well. And as you can see, I only tore off about 3 or 4 leaves here. You want this nice leafy green cabbage here. I'm going to cut up my apple so that it fits in the juicer. And that's it. Basically, I'm going to juice this. You see here, I've got an empty glass. You'll see how much this fills up with juice, though. Start this out. And there you go. One nice full cup of juice. This is all 100% organic. And extremely delicious. And that's it. That's my cup of juice right there. The important thing is to drink your juice within 1 minute of juicing it. Because basically what you've done is you've exposed all the live nutrients and vitamins and minerals in there as well. And once those get exposed to the elements, they start to lose their nutritional value. So you want to drink this as, you don't have to gulp it down, but you can just drink it up. Delicious. Very good. Tastes great. You'll notice what I did was I actually started with a carrot or two, and a slice or two of the apple, then added the cabbage in the middle, then the rest of the apple, and then some carrots on top of that. The reason I do that is because the juice, which it doesn't, usually sometimes it won't mix. So if you juice like a beet or greens or something very distinctive in color, you'll see that the actual juices will sit on top of each other. They actually don't mix. So what I like to do is just juice carrots, apples, cabbage, apples, carrots on there, so it kind of forces the juice to mix up there. It kind of gives you a better taste. Otherwise, whenever you drink the juice, you'll actually taste only carrot juice. If you were to juice all the carrots last, you'd kind of taste just straight carrot juice on top. Once you got towards the middle, you taste whatever juice you juiced in the middle, and when you got to the bottom, you'd taste that juice. So I like to mix it up a little bit and go from there. I'm going to grab my book real quick. I'll be right back. 1 second. And I got this book, The Juice Man's Power of Juicing, like I said, about 10 years ago whenever I had the book. And it wasn't until a few months ago that I picked this back up again and started reading it after I wasn't getting any symptom relief with medication with my ulcerative colitis. And I'll read to you what he says, why cabbage is so important. Cabbage, another cruciferous vegetable. Cabbage is often overlooked by the modern homemaker or thought of as only as a base for fattening, oily coleslaw, or slippery accompaniment to a dried out corned beef. So when he was growing up in California and blah, 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 actually I'm going to skip through that part. but basically what he says, boiled or steamed cabbage loses a portion of the vegetables, vitamins and minerals, and what left is inorganic sulfur. So that's usually what causes whenever people eat cabbage, it gives them gas or something like that, and that's why. So, but basically, cabbage is a good source of beta-carotene, vitamin C, sulfur, and if grown in a mineral-rich soil, selenium, a trace element that plays a big role in cancer-fighting agent as well as protecting against heart disease and inflammatory conditions such as arthritis. Selenium, considered an anti-aging mineral, promotes healthy-looking skin and increases male potency. Cabbage also is inundated with amino acid glutamine. Now, glutamine is very important for those of you with ulcerative colitis, and I'll go into that a little bit further. So, finish the rest of my juice. Basically, what he said, he had an interesting experience with this amino acid in the late 40s when Dr. Garnett Cheney, who at the time headed the cancer division of Stanford Medical School in Palo Alto, California, invited him to instruct him and the other doctors on a proper way to juice. So Dr. Cheney was actually in the process of researching the value of glutamine in healing stomach ulcers. And basically theorized that stomach ulcers might be precursors to colorectal cancer. Now, this was back in the 40s. Now we know that to actually be true. And so basically he's worked with 65 volunteers, all of whom had suffered from stomach ulcers, and began intensive cabbage juice therapy. Each of them drank a quart of cabbage juice a day. Because the concentrated juice resulted in so much gastric upset, they changed the formula to a cabbage, celery, carrot juice. Within 3 weeks, all but 2 of the patients were healed, and the 2 holdouts had only minimal symptoms. So, very, very interesting there. And basically that's it. So, that's where it comes from. That's where I got the idea. I said, okay, so I looked up, and actually he has a recipe in here called the Diverticula Tonic. And so basically soothes the stomach, but it's actually 5 carrots, cabbage, and a half apple. Now you see I modified that a little bit. I went with 4 carrots, a whole apple, and a couple of wedges of the cabbage on there. So like I said, this has been huge for my progress on ulcerative colitis that I've been, like I said, dealing with for the last 7 to 8 years with little to no relief. The main thing, like I said, after 3 days of started juicing, I noticed my urgency was gone, which to me the urgency was the worst part of having ulcerative colitis. I could deal with some diarrhea and some blood, although that always concerned me as well, but the urgency, that was just one of the most inconvenient things I could ever have to deal with, as far as always being on the lookout for a restroom, being concerned about going out with people in public, at work, out in the car, riding around. All those types of things just really, really concerned me. So basically getting the urgency under control was a huge quality of life improvement for me from the beginning. So that was big. And like I said, it got me there, and the bleeding had stopped as well. The problem was I was still having basically my stools weren't completely hard, so I knew I wasn't in 100% remission, but I considered myself around 80-85% remission at that point. I just needed to get the hard stools in there as well. And so basically, like I said, for the last 3 months, I've been at the same point, but I actually added something else in my diet. I'll ask you to keep kind of stay in tune for that, kind of push me over the edge, but I would really encourage you to experiment with some juice, see how that helps out and works out for you. It's great, and it's no problem. It tastes great. I mean, it'll make it extremely difficult. If you like soft drinks or juice drinks or anything like that right now that you buy from the store, it'll make it extremely difficult for you to be able to go back to those things, because once you've had some fresh organic juice, it's just like nothing else. On top of that, my beautiful fiance is a wonderful, wonderful cook, and we only use organic, I would say 95% of the time, organic ingredients in what we eat. We live in Louisiana, so it's kind of hard to always find 100% organic, but basically we stick to organic, gluten-free diet, and it really, really works out well. So anyways, appreciate you all watching. Again, visit ontheregular.com. That's the blog site that I have set up for ulcerative colitis, and hopefully you'll find some good tips, information. Please leave a comment, reply to one of the posts. If you email me your story, I'll be more than happy to post it up on the site. See if we can't generate some discussion that way. So anyways, I really appreciate everyone taking their time, and I hope this really helps you out. And if so, please share the word. And, let's overcome this issue that we have naturally. Forget all the medication. All right? Thanks.